On my birthday, my dad handed me an empty envelope and laughed. "You don't deserve gifts." 2 weeks later, I invited them all to my housewarming, and their smiles disappeared when they saw the deed. Hey Reddit. I'm Camille, 29F, and honestly, this year's birthday bash felt more like a roast of me as the joke. But soon enough, my hidden surprise would change the mood entirely. I grew up in a family where they believed that humiliation was a way to motivate me, especially since I was never the favorite. That title went to my younger brother, Nate, who's 27M and the cherished golden boy, a doctor who doesn't have to think twice about finances. My parents took care of everything for him, his car, tuition, even the down payment on his condo. Meanwhile, I was working 2 jobs just to make it through college and ended up with a pile of debt. So this year, I was really hoping they'd finally acknowledge me. I organized a small get-together at our family home, inviting relatives and close friends. I even footed the bill for catering because my parents claimed they were too busy. When it was time for cake, my dad stood up and said, "Before we dive in, here's a little something for our independent girl," as he handed me that envelope. Everyone started clapping, and as I opened the envelope, I found it was completely empty. He laughed and said, "A girl who can't pay her own bills doesn't deserve gifts," which sent the room into fits of laughter. My mom was chuckling behind her wine glass, while Nate had this smirk on his face, muttering something about tough love. There I was, holding that empty envelope, feeling like a fool in front of people I used to admire. But they didn't know that I wasn't actually broke, not even a little. And I had a plan to turn that around in a way they wouldn't see coming. Instead of breaking down or getting angry, I just smiled, folded the envelope back up, and slipped it into my pocket. They thought they were humiliating me, but I had some cards up my sleeve that they were completely unaware of. For the last couple of years, I'd been working as a project manager for a tech company, nothing too flashy, just a steady remote gig. But what they didn't know was that I'd also been freelancing on the side for various startups, helping out friends with pitch decks and writing grant proposals. It started off small but really took off. By last fall, my freelancing income was actually outpacing what I was making at my job. I stashed away every paycheck, putting it into a special account, and kept my lifestyle pretty simple. I even drove my old, beat-up Toyota Corolla on purpose. It was my way of fitting in with my family, avoiding all the questions at dinner about why I wasn't more successful. But here's the kicker. Just a week before my birthday, I'd actually closed on my first house, paid for in cash, no mortgage, a cozy 3-bedroom Craftsman in a nice part of Los Angeles. And my parents? They had no clue. As my dad went on about how I didn't deserve gifts, I scanned the room, looking at my cousins who were caught in that awkward mix of pity and laughter. My aunt murmured something I couldn't catch, and Nate had this smug expression like he was relishing the moment. I figured I'd let them have their fun for now, knowing the punchline was right around the corner. That night, after the gathering, I found myself sitting in my car outside my parents' place, staring at the deed I had tucked away in the glove compartment. I ran my fingers over the embossed seal, reflecting on all those times I felt like the family scapegoat, never quite measuring up. They thought I was humiliated, but I was about to turn the tables. I had already typed up the invitation for my housewarming party on my phone, planning to invite the very people who laughed at me that night. This time, though, I'd be the one in charge of the punchline. 2 weeks later, I sent out the invites in the family group chat. "I'd love for you all to come celebrate something special to me. This Saturday at 6 p.m. address below." The silence that followed my message was almost unbearable. No emojis, no replies. Finally, Nate chimed in with, "What are we celebrating?" "That you finally paid a bill on time." My dad couldn't stop laughing. I didn't say anything. Saturday rolled around, and I parked my Corolla a block away on purpose, wanting to keep up the suspense until the very last minute. I wanted them to walk in completely clueless. One by one, they arrived. First came my parents, looking puzzled as they checked the address. Then Nate showed up in his BMW, wearing a smirk. As I opened the door, my mom leaned in and asked, "Whose place is this? Renting a room?" I just smiled and replied, "Come on in." But when they stepped into the entryway, they all froze. The hardwood floors, the high ceilings, the fresh coat of paint. It was clear this wasn't a rental or a friend's place. It was a whole house. My aunt's voice whispered loud enough for everyone to hear. "This is yours." I pulled out the folder with the deed and opened it for them to see. The city seal sparkled under the light. "Yep, bought it last week. No mortgage. Thought I'd show my family where I actually live." The room went silent. My dad's face turned bright red, and my mom nearly dropped her wine glass, her hands shaking. Nate tried to play it cool, saying, "You got a house?" "No way." I tossed the keys in the air, caught them, and said, "Way." Then I looked right at my dad. Funny how the girl who can't pay her bills managed to buy a house on her own. The silence grew heavier, the fridge humming softly in the background. For the first time in years, no one laughed at me. The deed lay there on the counter like a trophy, shimmering in the kitchen light. No one could argue with what it signified. The girl they had ridiculed, the one they dismissed as a failure, had accomplished something they'd never imagined. The tension hung thick in the air until my mom broke it with a stiff laugh, saying, "Well, this is unexpected, Camille. You should have told us. We could have offered some guidance. Families should be part of decisions like this." I turned to meet her eyes. "But families should also protect each other from embarrassment. Did you protect me on my birthday? When Dad handed me that empty envelope, called me worthless in front of everyone. When you all laughed." Her expression twisted, lips parting, but no words came out. My dad cleared his throat and barked, "Oh, come on. That was just a joke. You always blow things out of proportion. You're too sensitive. That's always been your issue." I shook my head, holding his gaze steady.
"No, Dad."
My issue was thinking your approval actually mattered. I felt less than Nate and everyone else. But tonight, that feeling is gone. Nate stepped in, smirking. "Wow, so you bought a house."
"Congrats. But don't act like you're better than me."
"You probably just got lucky or had some help." I tilted my head, staying calm but sharp. "Luck?"
"No, Nate."
"I worked 2 jobs, all through college. I freelanced while you slept in. I saved up while you took money from Mom and Dad for your tuition, your car, your condo down payment. I built this with hard work, not handouts. The only luck here is that I finally stopped believing your lies about me." His smirk faltered a bit, and my cousins, who had laughed before, shifted uncomfortably. One coughed into his drink, while another nodded, almost embarrassed. From the back, my aunt chimed in, "I remember when your dad gave you that empty envelope. I thought it was cruel. I'm glad you didn't let it hold you back, Camille." My dad whipped around, his face red. "Stay out of this. It's family business." But she didn't flinch, and the atmosphere shifted once more. My cousin whispered, "Honestly, I respect that. You played it smart. Wish I had your discipline." Things shifted. For once, control didn't lie in my dad's loud voice or Nate's smug expressions. It was in my silence, my house, my keys. My mom tried a different angle, moving a bit closer and lowering her voice just enough for others to overhear. "Now that you've got this house, wouldn't it be a relief to let Nate stay here while he finishes his residency? He's under so much stress. Just be a good sister." I recoiled, my voice sharp. "Support like the kind I got when you all laughed at me? No way. This is my home, my boundary, and no one who mocked me gets to crash here whenever it suits them." Her mouth fell open, disbelief written all over her face. My dad mumbled, "Ungrateful." I shot him a look. "No. What's really ungrateful is raising a daughter just to hand her an empty envelope filled with humiliation. What's ungrateful is watching her struggle and calling it weakness. I don't owe you my home or my silence. And I definitely don't owe you respect you never gave me." The room fell silent. By the time dessert was supposed to be served, the gathering was done. Guests shuffled out awkwardly, mumbling congratulations as they left. A few cousins even apologized for laughing at me that night, and my aunt hugged me, saying softly, "Don't let them take this away from you." My parents were the first to leave, fuming and pale. Mom's heels clicked angrily on the hardwood, muttering about betrayal, while Dad slammed the door behind him, not looking back. Nate followed, slamming his BMW door so hard that the sound echoed, and then it was quiet. Once the last guest left and the door clicked shut, I stood alone in the heavy silence of the house. For years, family gatherings had ended with me choking back tears, replaying every insult until sleep wouldn't come. But tonight, the silence felt like a win. I walked through the living room, collecting glasses and plates. Each clink into the sink reminded me of the moment. My family had walked into this house ready to laugh at me again, but left speechless. The deed lay on the counter. I picked it up, tracing my fingers over the embossed seal, and smiled. It wasn't just a piece of paper. It was proof that their narrative of me as the failure who couldn't manage her bills was finally broken. My phone buzzed, lighting up with notifications from the family group chat, each one tougher than the last. Dad, you embarrassed us tonight. You should be ashamed. Mom, this isn't how family treats each other. You've always been too proud. Nate, enjoy your little castle. Houses are money pits. Call me when you can't keep up with the bills. For once, their words didn't sting. I didn't feel a tight chest or a lump in my throat, just nothing. I typed back one message. Thanks for coming tonight. I'll send some pictures from my housewarming soon. The house I bought myself, with my money, without anyone's help. Then, I muted the chat. No more buzzing. No more seeking approval. I poured the last glass of wine and settled down on the floor, leaning against the couch. The hardwood was cool and solid under me, offering a sense of grounding. The house was quiet, yet it felt so alive, full of memories, potential, and a deep sense of peace. I took one final glance around before making my way upstairs to my little retreat. After putting my keys on the nightstand and slipping into bed, one thought lingered as I drifted off. This time, it wasn't me going to bed feeling humiliated.
It was them.